Very good evening, all the listeners present now or in the future. So, prospective listeners, all of you, good evening once again. This evening, I am here to share my views, my opinions, my experience, and my perceptions of what other people might be thinking about media ads, business ethics, and how close we are or how far apart we are in reference to both in the second case. But in the first case, how close media ads and business ethics they are, or how apart they are in terms of what should be and what should not be. So, first of all, we all know that media ads, advertisements are made and published or aired in the media, published in the print media and uh, aired in the electronic media so that business prospers. Business people, they serve the consumers and they serve themselves because advertisements are a medium. Advertisements are opportunities for the business people, manufacturers, industrialists, people engaged in all these activities, trade and commerce, and also service givers. Many people support astrologers in our part of the world, in this part of the world, Asia, Africa, everywhere, Europe, America also. There are astrologers, you can say numerologists, palmists, and they advertise their services. They stay in a hotel or in different hotels at a time, and then they, you can say, advertise in the media that they are available for the people for consultations or for their, you can say, what you call future telling, their fortune telling, and making predictions about their, you can say, career, about their services, about their future achievements, or about any obstacles that might come in the ways of their job promotions or business prosperity or political future and all that. So service givers, manufacturers, traders, and people engaged in all sorts of business, they need advertisements because they have to reach people. Service seekers are the people, consumers are the people who use things. They are also to be informed about what products are there to be in the market, what manufactured things have been there in the market, what are their qualities, how cost effective they are, and how can they serve the interests of the consumers. And consumers also, when they get different commodities in the market, different services in the market, then they have a choice. They can choose what suits them. So you have, for example, you have many kinds of detergent powders, detergent cakes, you have cameras, you have cars, you have television, you have all sorts of things. You can't name all the things. You will be short of time doing all that. So business and you can say people related in business or businesses, and on the other hand, people who you can say make use of the goods or services or somehow they happen to answer to the needs of the business people. So it has been because after the industrial revolution in England in the 19th century, and then gradually elsewhere in the world. So businesses have grown, industries have grown, urbanization process has grown, and so many other advancements have been made in every field, in games, sports, in medicine, engineering, culture, diplomacy, everywhere. So advertisements, I say, and everybody will say the same thing, that advertisements are very essential for things to be informed about to the consumers. And so they are a bridge between the makers of things, manufacturers of things, or givers of things, or you can say service providers, and on the other hand, the consumers and the service seekers and all. This ads business runs into billions of dollars around the world. In every country, even in a backward country, even in an underdeveloped society, you have advertisements and you have eroding business. People do that. And then on the other hand, we have business ethics. And all of us know that advertisements, you can say, help businesses or business houses prosper and make profits and then go on delaying the profits and expanding businesses, expanding industries, and for economic growth everywhere. And you have, you can say, business ethics. So profit earning is very important. Without earning profit, you can't have a business, because every person wants to be richer and richer and richer, to have more capital, to invest more, to expand business. And history is full of examples that people once upon a time are shopkeepers. They are, you can say, squatters in the streets, or they are small traders, small, you can say, what you call industrialists. And then in 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 50 years, these people, they grow in their trade, in their commerce, in their business, industry, all that. And so many examples are there that small time business people get so much high that they get counted among 1,000 richest business people in the world. So many examples are there. So it's all because of business people's hard work, their business acumen, their, you can say, getting cooperation from their families and friends, their having cooperation from the governments where they work under. And of course, they also get, you can say, helped by the ads industries. You have print media, you have electronic media, and other media also, maybe agents, you have brokers, brokers, you have the middlemen, you have the people who canvas, you have promoters, developers, all sorts of people. It's essential that you have advertisements. It is also essential that you make use of your techniques, scientific techniques, develop techniques to grow your business. But it is also very essential that all of us, we maintain certain standards of ethics, or we follow certain, you can say, tenets of ethics, collective ethics, for the advantage, for the benefit of all of us. Because if business is not done ethically, if advertisements are not done according to what the reality is about a product, means the reality about a product is something, and we exaggerate. We give money to the promoters, to the ads makers, to the media houses, and then we don't give the quality to the product, and we advertise that this product is of very, very high quality. And people believe in the media because they think that you have in the media, even models come, cine stars come, you have artists come, singers come, people who are, you can say, loved by millions and millions of fans. So they come as the middlemen. You call them models and all that. So they advertise, they speak on behalf of the things, on behalf of the services, on behalf of someone who can serve the society, and common people believe. You don't go asking your friends, near friends who are not specialists or experts. So people believe in advertisements. That's why, even if you suppose buy, you can say, what you call toothpaste or toothbrush, then you have in the newspapers that you read early in the morning, or you have news stories in the television, and you sit in front of the television and you see the ads. Many ads are very attractively presented. So many ads, you can say, hire models who are very famous, and many of them are also famous for their integrity, for their good conduct of life, for their own way of living, nice way of living. So when these people happen to model products, and then you believe more in those products. Well, and these people can't lie. These people won't, you can say what you call misguide the consumers. If they are speaking in praise of the products, in praise of the services, then they will be all right. And people believe and then they go having them. So yeah, this is all right. But then the reality is that, see, business started, maybe business has been as long as human beings have been. Earlier, suppose in the villages, in the rural areas, cities had not come up, towns had not come up. And then wherever people had settled, they would have some business, means something trading, that farmers producing rice and then other farmers producing vegetables. So you can say trading in rice and they trading in, suppose what you call vegetables. Flowers means things that were available, and producers or the owners of the things would be, you can say, having exchanges of things, that you have barter system. Maybe sometimes you don't use money in those times, so barter system existed, that you give one thing to one person and that person gives you something other, and this other thing you need and your thing that person needed. So it has been ever since society has been, ever since human beings have been understanding how important it is to produce things, to make things, and things that you don't make, things that you don't produce, you get from others. And in the process, you have deals and all that, agreements and all that, you have assessments of the things and all that. So it has been. But advertisements, I think, might have come as industry in the 19th century, early 19th century, or the late 18th century, even before that. But then you can say advertisements as a business might have started towards the end of 18th century or in the early 19th century. In this connection, I remember an essay that I had read by an American woman writer, and 20th century American woman writer, and she had written an essay, and her name was Lydia E. Pinkham. And the title of the essay was Women's Business. And I would like to refer to that essay to the extent that it is helpful in explaining my, you can say, my stream, the subject I have chosen today to speak on. So she's talking about the 19th century, you can say, women pioneering business, because before they entered even a country like America, businesses were handled by males, and most of 99% of the business people were males, and traders males, people in commerce males, manufacturers, agents means all that. So it was the male bastion. But later on, some of the women in America, they started. And Lydia, I think, writes that they started under certain conditions, that a woman started because her earning husband died of cancer or died in an accident. So a family problem, husband is no more, the earning hand is no more. So the wife has to do something to take care of the needs of the family. You have to educate your child or children, so you need. So according to that essay, some of the women started their home business, very small scale business from home, making, suppose, pickle, or making, suppose, you can say, hankies, or making other kinds of things, suppose some concoctions, some you can say herbs used as medicines. So and they started making things especially for women, because they were women, and so they knew the difficulties of the women, of the middle class women, of the poorer women. So they started with that, thinking that they were doing business to support the family, and they were also helping women because they themselves were women, so they knew better the problems of women. And that way, it was a kind of, the spirit was philanthropic, that you do something for others. And they said that and they did for earning money for the maintenance of the family expenses of families, and they also did that for you can say under the spirit of what we call helping others, that women helping other women, and that is how. But in that very essay, Lydia A. Pinkham, the writer, herself female, and she gives many examples that in the beginning they were believed in, and women generally came to support them by being their consumers, by being their service seekers, and they gradually developed. But after you can say sometime when they established their reliability, they established their credibility among the consumers, particularly among the women, then they started playing the same tricks, almost the same tricks that men had been practicing, that you advertise and you let your models, or you can say write out yourself, or you make the print media publish for you the praises for the products, but the products in fact did not carry the qualities that you advertised. You suppose had so many ways to make promotions for the sales, and you spoke more about the qualities than actually the products had the qualities. And there you can see clash between your business motive and your ethical, you can say, standard, your maintenance of ethics, because earning profit, growing business, of course, everybody's right, but that you cannot do at the cost of other people's health, or that you can't do cheating others, that people buy things believing in the qualities that you have spoken about, you have advertised, but these qualities are not there. In fact, in many cases, according to that essayist, not even 50% of the claims that had been made about the products and services were found when they were used. So people got cheated. And the conclusion that the essayist made was that once you are in the thick of business, then whether you are men or women, you get, you can say, bowled over by this selfish desire or by this greed, that if you don't grow very speedily, then you are a failure. And if you suppose, you can say, increase your capital, increase your profit 3 times in a year or 4 times in 5 years, then you are a successful businessman, successful trader. So if men could be successful using those tricks, these women who had taken a stand that they would be working in the spirit of philanthropists, and they would be taking profit, and they will be having ethical profit. They won't go, you can say, exacting, or they won't go taxing, or they won't go, you can say, extorting in that sense within quotes their buyers, their consumers, because that they themselves did not want when they were consumers and they were not manufacturers. So this is the crux of the problem. The problem is that we have forgotten ethics. We have forgotten ethical values. Although it's not only in business, it is not in reference only to ads to promote business and to grow business. Ethical values have been on the decline. Ethical values have not been, you can say, maintained in practice in all fields of life. That is why you see that certain product that used to be made in the 19th century, and suppose, for example, it is also a very interesting example that you can say pads during the use in the period of menses for the girls and all that. So there was a time when a good quality pad would last maybe 6 months or maybe 2 months, whatever. And even before that, the cotton pads, not, you can say what you call that, highly sophisticated. So they would last. And then the second crop of the same product would have less, you can say, quality. And the third, you can say, crop of the same, even less quality. So you see a decline, means decline is always on. It's not the standard maintenance, means when you start, then you have something. But after 2 years, 3 years, you go down. After 3 more years, you go further down. After 4 5 years, you go further down. Once you have a grip on your consumers, once they believe in your brand, then you abuse your brand, you misuse your brand, and people get cheated. So it is happening everywhere. See, educational institutions that used to be proud of great teachers, sacrificing teachers, and now you have commercialism. You have so many things. You pay to the teachers so that they award you higher marks, and you are interested in higher marks to get admissions on donations in private colleges, universities, and all that. You have doctors. You have the examples of doctors like Dr. Brown, a character in a beautiful story, The House Call, and that he was so famous and so nice that he would not care for his own rest, even after 8 hours of work at the operation theater in the hospital where he worked. When he came back in the evening, and if ever and there was a patient, there was a house call, and then he would go to the house of that patient, and he would cure. And if he found that the patient was not, you can say, economically well, not, you can say, rich, rather poor, then he wouldn't even charge the fees. So even you can say generally you would have doctors like him. If not like him, then at least 50% of the qualities that that doctor had would be available or would be found in other doctors also. But now we hear that doctors have brokers, you have contact men, and then they go to the railway stations, they go to the bus stand, they go to the airports, you can say in search of the patients. At the airport, you have richer patients. At the rail stations, also middle class. At the bus stations, you may have middle class poor people, and you tell them to go to a certain doctor or to certain doctors, and you tell them that they are the best doctors in treatment of such and such disease that you are suffering from. So everywhere, my idea is that we should be concerned. All the people in the world, good thinking people, rational people, people who have a sense of future, people who want to see this world going better and better, and that humanity is maintained, that people don't get dehumanized. We don't become Satans. We don't become satanic in our bend of mind, in our behavior, attitude, character, actions. So simply by writing books, simply by, you can say, speaking, most of us, we speak and we forget. We speak and for the formality we get paid, or even if not paid, we speak for the formalities, we gather claps and all that, we get you can say adulations, and then we forget. In fact, what is required of all of us around the world, I don't speak about people of one place or the other. I am speaking and I am appealing. And I am appealing to myself that if you are good, if you think well, then think better. And don't allow your thinking to go, you can say, downward. Rather, maintain the tempo and keep the, you can say, flame of honesty, integrity, and ethicality, spirit, you can say, always on. And that is what is required if this world has to be better. Because people say, I feel, most of the people feel that standards have gone down, humanity has gone down, integrity has gone down, sociability has gone down, family relations have, you can say, gone down. Children don't respect their parents. Parents are not as loving as they had been earlier. They just enjoy their life, and then they leave their children, you can say, to the care of the caretakers or the nurses or the nannies and all. And that is how life has, you can say, been in a vicious circle, that everybody is cheating the other. People in the medical profession, they cheat, you can say, non-medical people. People in the engineering field, they cheat the medical people. If you are a shopkeeper selling drugs, then you sell spurious drugs. And then you go to buy vegetables, you go to buy, you can say, other things, and there you have, in the vegetable market, they cheat you. You go to, suppose, you can say, educational institution, there you get cheated. So we are cheating one another. So how far we allow this to happen? How far we allow this cheating? How far we allow all these bad things happen? Because if we don't think together, if we don't think globally, we can't help ourselves. We can't do anything to this world. Therefore, I have raised this topic that media ads and you can say what you call business ethics, how close and how far apart. So if you go by the records, of the recent decades, you see that advertisements are growing up. Advertisement business is growing and growing and growing. Business is growing, commerce is growing, trade is growing. But ethics means the relationship between ethical values and business. The growth of business is a must. It should be. Nobody has any objection to that. But it has to grow maintaining certain standard of ethical values, certain standard of ethics. But when there is no ethic at all, there is no closeness, even if closeness is to a tolerable extent, it is all right. But when you see that because of stark selfishness, because of the profit motive overriding, getting over the head, and human values, human health, human life, human relationship, you advertise as a model certain product, and you know you are not convinced about that, or you don't have any knowledge about that. You speak out in praise of their products, whatever you have been told, but you don't know that people believe in you, and people would take, you can say, words, and they would go according to your suggestions, but ultimately, and they get harmed. So if these people are harmed, who is responsible? Not only those who make you advertise and speak in favor of the product, but you are also responsible. All of us are responsible. So it's not one section or the other. It is the cross section of society that has to be responsible for that. And if it doesn't happen, if ethics are, you can say, nowhere in our business policy, no, we have social responsibility, we have human responsibility. And if we don't do that, then it's a problem. I don't say that many service givers, they are very nice or they are honest. So they serve as per their capacity. They know what they are capable of delivering, and they deliver as per their promises, as per their commitments, but very, very few, 5 to 10% maybe. So in trade, commerce, and businesses, also you have 5 to 10%, you can say, business people, industrialists, business houses, corporate houses, and they perform their duties more or less all right. But 70 to 80%, 90% of the business houses, the industrialists, the people in trade and commerce, the advertisement agents, all these people, you can see the commission agents, the brokers, all these people, they have a nexus. They are hands in glove. And then they cheat people. And then it's a role. And then they also get cheated when they happen to be the consumers and buyers and all that. So I, I have read in the books, I have attended conferences and all that, and I have also experienced as a consumer, as a service seeker, that most of us, we are not, you can say, ethically sound. We are not close to our business policies, our business growth. Ethically, we are very, very poor. Our poverty is stinking, if I should say so, that we are not honest. We talk about the ethical values that we maintain, but we only talk, and when the talk is over, we smile or we chuckle to ourselves. Oh, what a smart person I am, or what a smart sort of people we are, that we have cheated. But you can't cheat your conscience. We can't cheat our conscience. And if our world is not going in the good direction, then your life is also getting, suppose you can say, bad. The quality of satisfaction you will not have, that you need to have in order to live happily, in order to live a better life, a long life. Okay, long or short, you never know, because death can come anytime. But ethical values, to at least minimum standards must be maintained, so that business grows, trade grows, commerce grows, you become rich and richer, but you don't have, you can say, your conscience biting all the time. Your conscience bites, okay, maybe once in 6 months, but and for that also you need to have conscience. Many people, they have become so bad, so dastardly, that they don't have conscience left in them. So it doesn't make any difference to them whether they cheat once in a year, or they cheat or defraud, you can say, people every day. Therefore, it is for intellectuals, intelligentsia, it's for farmers, all of us, because common sense is with everybody. Whether you are educated or not, whether you are highly educated or not, whether you are a specialist or you are not. Nature has given us common sense. So we should do unto others as we want others to do unto us. And I therefore want that this stream is listened to, my ideas, my opinions, my experiences, what I have heard, what I have learned from others. So I have tried to, you can say, make use of all that to make this stream, you can say, an enjoyable experience. And we should know, we need to remind ourselves time and over again where we are, where we stand. So as aspiringly civilized people, or as people aspiring to be civilized, do we do our duty where we are in reference to the maintenance of ethical values in terms of our practices, medical practices, business practices, engineering practices, agricultural practices, political practices, diplomatic practices, because if there is a big gap between what we say and what we do, then there won't be any meaning left in us calling ourselves civilized people or calling ourselves desirous of civilization, civility, and progress and all that. So let us have resolution. This year is coming to an end. November is ending tomorrow. December only 1 month. After that, we have the new year, 2022. So I hope the words that I have used, the things that I have said, would be shared by all of us. You hear, you know already. But even if we know we have everything already known, it is better that we renew our resolution and we tell others, one another, that it is very important for all of us to try to be rich, to try to be wealthy, to try to be prosperous, but not at the cost of, you can say, human values, human health, you can say, all that is required to save nature, Mother Earth, and all that. So this is what I feel. So on the note of making this appeal, that let us try to be good, to be morally sound as much as it is possible, but don't cross the limits, because once limits are crossed, we don't remain human beings. We cease to be human beings. We become subhumans, and that is a very bad thing to happen. That should not happen. Thanks a lot. God bless us all. Bye-bye.